welcome to today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have you all here today. I can't wait to dive into all of this data that we gathered. We have some really in-depth research to cover, and I can't wait. So I do want to give folks just another second here to get situated. I want you all to feel comfortable using the question box feature in GoToWebinar. So that'll essentially be your chat feature for today. So while you can't chat with other attendees, I will see everything coming into that question box. So type in that question box, say hello, let me know where you're calling in from today. I'll call out some of the answers here, but just feel like you can just drop a question into that question box, say hey, say where you're calling in from. I'm currently based in Denver, Colorado. I just recently moved here from Boston, Massachusetts. And one of the most beautiful things about these webinars is they connect folks from all different corners of the world here for the same common goal of improving our marketing. So we have Maximus from Oregon. Hello, Maximus. Thank you for chatting in. We have a couple other folks chatting in, a couple of folks from Canada and Australia. Welcome. We have, another person from Worcester, Massachusetts. Hello, neighbor, or my past neighbor. A couple other people also from Colorado. Few other folks calling in. Emma from New Hampshire. I'm originally from New Hampshire. So welcome, Emma. Jason from Canada, hello. Frank from North Jersey, hey there. Great. I wish I could call out every single one of you. Thank you for going ahead and participating in that. Again, I want you to feel like you can use that question box feature for the Q&A session at the end. I am seeing some questions already coming in about recording and slides. So I will mention this a few times throughout the webinar just in case, but just so everyone knows that you will get a copy of the slides in your inbox later today. And again, this will be recorded, so don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. We're recording right now, and you can easily access all of our webinar recordings on the WordStream and Look Like You YouTube channels. And once again, you'll get a copy of the slides and the recording in your inbox later today. I love that more people are typing into that question box saying where they're from. It's just, I love to see where everybody's calling in from. So that's great. Thanks for that. I do want to cover a couple of housekeeping items. So again, I just want to reiterate that this will be recorded. You'll get the materials in your inbox later today, including a copy of the slides. And again, I just wanted to make sure that you felt comfortable using that question box feature, because if you've attended any of our past webinars, you know our Q&A session at the end is usually a pretty unique experience for me to answer your questions in what feels like a one-on-one setting. So with that being said, I just want to quickly introduce Look Like You and myself, get us all on the same page here today. Now, some of you might be familiar or already working with Look Like You, and that's great. Some of you might be totally new and welcome, and some of you might be familiar with our legacy brands, WordStream and Reach Local. So for everyone on this call, I just want to get us on the same page that Look Like You is a fully integrated growth marketing platform that gives your business everything it needs to thrive and prosper in digital marketing. And how we do that is we have a proprietary technology that's informed by over 5.2 million campaigns that helps you make data-backed decisions with your marketing. We also provide a personalized approach for local marketing with experts that know your industry and know your area. And we also use the power of AI to help you with lead management and follow-up, so you can not only get those leads, but also nurture them and convert them into customers. Something we're really proud of here at Look Like You is that we're a partner with all of the major advertising platforms. Now, that's not just granted to every marketing platform out there. We have to prove real campaign performance across these different platforms like Google Ads, Microsoft Ads, and so on. And we're just really proud of that. We've saved a lot of businesses out there tons in revenue. We've helped them generate more revenue, save hours of work, and help them deliver more leads. So really proud of that. And I just want everyone to be aware. A common question I get asked on these webinars is where can you learn more about us, our solutions, where can you learn more about the topics that we cover in these webinars. This hour will fly by. So if you ever need to spend more time with anything we cover here, you can easily navigate over to the Local IQ and WordStream websites. We cover everything that we cover in these webinars in depth on our blogs over there. So definitely check that out. Also be sure to follow us on social media. You can find Local IQ and WordStream on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and YouTube. And again, you can find this webinar recording and all of our past webinar recordings on those YouTube channels that are shown there at the bottom of that slide. So again, if you just want to attend future webinars, be sure to follow us. We do post about like events that we do, or also like any sort of advertising platform updates that advertisers should be aware of, things like that. So a little bit about me, the person that's been talking to you for the past 10 minutes. Hello, everyone. My name is Susie. I'll be your webinar host and facilitator for today. It's great to meet you all virtually. And basically, I'm a senior content marketing specialist over at Local IQ, where I write educational digital marketing content on the WordStream and Local IQ websites. And we basically cover everything under the marketing sun. So it's SEO to PPC to display ads to OTT to email, content, everything and anything. I've covered it. And basically how I've gotten into this position was I formerly was a digital marketing consultant over at WordStream, where I coached business owners and marketers like many of the folks on this webinar today through the day-to-day best practices on platforms like Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, Microsoft ads, and so on. So I took that real life experience in consulting and applied it to the educational content that I'm here to present to you today. As I mentioned earlier, fun fact about me is I just recently moved to Denver, Colorado from actually Salem, Massachusetts, which is the witch city. I just visited there around Halloween. It's pretty crazy there. So I do miss home, but I'm happy to be out here in Colorado. So you can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter. I do share out like industry reports that we cover, things like that. Now, if any of you have attended our past webinars, you know I love to keep our attendees on their toes. So type into that question box. We're just going to warm up to today's topic with a little pop quiz. I just want to get a feeler out there. What are your best performing marketing channels for lead generation, or if you're e-com or retail for generating sales? You know, I just want to hear from some folks in the crowd today, like, what do you feel is working for you? What channels do you tend to favor for your business? And I'll call out some of the answers here. And there is no right or wrong answer, but I do want us to just familiarize ourselves with like, all right, what are we investing in that we're liking? And what could we be investing more into? So we are seeing a few answers come in already. David saying word of mouth, definitely effective as always. Barry saying paid ads, and I'm happy to see that. And I think that most businesses honestly would say that. That's not a super extraordinary answer. That's a good, like typical, that's a good thing. That's a good typical answer would be paid ads. Few other folks saying social media. Love to see that. I feel like that's an area a lot of like growing businesses feel like they struggle with, but you can find success on there. Heather said primarily PMax or Performance Max Google Ads campaigns. Definitely can touch on that today. Some other folks saying content creation, definitely SEO, blogging, creating content, optimizing your website content is very effective. Also saying Google business profiles, so some of your local listings, great to see that. Jason also calling out paid ads, Facebook, word of mouth. Tons of answers coming in, and I wish I could call out every single one of you. Thanks for participating in that. But again, just wanted to get us warmed up to this topic. As you notice, none of the answers that I called out were exactly the same, and that's totally okay and normal. So as I'm talking about the general best practices that we'll cover today in the data, I do want you to be thinking about how this applies to your unique situation. And if this data doesn't necessarily reflect your experience in marketing and advertising, that's okay. But just be still thinking about how you can use this data to your advantage for your specific experiences. With that, we'll cover essentially how we created this survey that we're digging into today and pulled some insights from. And then we'll also share the big results and leave you with some thought starters and jump into that Q&A as I mentioned. So let's first just cover some of the data here and kind of paint a picture of who we surveyed. So we executed the survey of with over 300 different small and and growing businesses, and just ask these business owners and marketers a series of questions to get a feeler for how their sentiment is or how they're approaching their marketing and advertising, to help you kind of understand how other competitors or businesses like yours might be approaching their strategies. So these were businesses primarily from US and Canada. Now we do work with businesses from all over the world, but for the purposes of this survey, they lied in those areas. We did see that the majority or a big chunk was in the business services or retail or healthcare industries. But as you can see here, we had a pretty even mix of businesses from all different types of industries. So even if you feel like you're in a really niche or specific industry, a lot of the takeaways here could still apply to your specific situation. And again, just kind of giving you a feel for the size of these businesses. So again, primarily small and growing businesses. So we also looked at, whether they're having employees dedicated to marketing full time, or if they're doing it all on their own. And as you can see here, a big chunk didn't necessarily have full-time dedicated employee for marketing. And that just reinforces the fact that a marketing partner can come in handy in these situations. It can often be cheaper than having full-time staff for your marketing. And again, just getting a feel for that size of business. And as I go through this, I know it's a lot of data, but I do just want you all to know that you will get a copy of the slides and the report and the recording in your inbox later today. And you can find the report on our blog where you can take a little bit more time with all of these, because it will go by pretty quick. But also just looking at how much time are we spending in our marketing. I don't know if any of you see this and feel like you're spending more or less. And again, there is no right or wrong answer here. It's really going to depend, right? So after looking at all of that, we basically found that small businesses are missing key opportunities to reach new customers, and they're missing out in three main areas: on search marketing and free online visibility, in brand awareness, and in tracking and converting site visitors. So let's dig into some of those big takeaways, or the 5 takeaways from those 3 kind of like areas where we could improve on if I were, a small business here. So looking at our first overall kind of main takeaway here. So how do we know where businesses are missing key opportunities? Well, it's based on what we're not seeing in our data results. 55% of small businesses aren't investing in search advertising. Last year, only 40% of small businesses we surveyed were investing in search advertising, and that percentage increased to 45% this year, but it's still surprisingly low given how effective search advertising is at driving leads. That percentage was even lower, down to 30% for small businesses with a monthly marketing budget of under $1,000. This could be a missed opportunity for that remaining 70% of those businesses, especially because 65% of people who click on a search ad are looking to make a purchase, right? So it was surprising to see that free tactics like reputation management and video marketing and advertising is so low on the list as well, with 28% and 26% respectively, because these strategies are important for small and local businesses to increase their visibility on search engines and drive more website traffic. So meanwhile, the 3 most used marketing channels this year are unpaid social media marketing, social media ads, those were both at 66% and 56% respectively, and SEO and email marketing both at 53% of usage. Now, this makes sense. These channels are extremely effective for small businesses and can help them easily connect with their audiences when they're spending time online. And we even saw that in that little quick poll, some people calling out, search social ads and social marketing, but would love to see more search ads becoming more prominent. And when I say search marketing, what I mean is running paid search ads on top of search engines like Google, Bing, or Yelp to show up for searches. So over 70% of people use search engines when looking to make a purchase, and a large percentage of those people are searching specifically for local products and services. So increasing your visibility and rankings in search results is one of the most effective ways to scale revenue online. It drives quick results, it helps your business rank on search engines, it drives conversions, and it can help you collect data for reporting and analytics in the future too. So despite all that, because Google's algorithm is constantly changing and the search engine giant takes steps daily to make the search results more relevant for users, paid search and SEO are critical, and what constitutes an effective SEO strategy does change frequently. So additionally, the majority of small businesses are missing out on online visibility and brand awareness tactics like video advertising and reputation management. Now, it was surprising to see that free tactics like these are so low on the list, with 28% and 26% of businesses respectively using these. These strategies can help you get found across the web, influence purchasing behaviors, and to drive more website traffic. The three most used marketing channels this year are unpaid social media marketing, social media ads, and SEO and email marketing, like we covered. But again, we would like to see more coming through from reputation management, because it can be a free tactic, or video marketing advertising, as we know that's on the rise. Now, this is our first of our bright idea slides of this presentation. Anytime we have some good tips, tricks, or insights to share, you'll see that light bulb in the corner. For small businesses, your reputation is a superpower that helps you compete with much larger competitors. Coupled with a strong online presence, a stellar reputation makes you the obvious choice to anyone searching for what you sell. As you can see from our checklist, reputation management impacts all your other marketing strategies, right? So it helps you get more customers, as 94% of consumers are likely to try a business that has at least a 4-star rating, and it helps you get found online. Google uses reviews, counts, and ratings as a factor when ranking your website for relevant searches. So the most common small business reputation management challenges, though, are limited time and resources, and difficulty generating reviews and review management. Small businesses are also missing out on the ability to track and convert website visitors in the case of call tracking and website chat. There are even free call tracking and web chat tools available that could help SMBs with a lower budget. The Metapixel is a piece of code you can put on your website to better understand the effectiveness of your advertising campaigns by seeing what consumers actually do on your site. That includes putting a product in a cart, initializing a checkout, and converting. So that's just one example of how you could, potentially get a little bit more out of your tracking and analytics. So installing on your Pixel on your website can be really vital and helps with your overall audience list, customer lists, and more. The good news is that there are more opportunities for business that are investing in tactics to stand out. You might be competing against larger businesses in some scenarios that have their pixel good to go and things like that. But you're less likely to have competition from local businesses who offer similar services when you do those tactics that set you ahead, like setting up the Metapixel, for example. So we also know that small businesses are missing out on the ability to track and convert website visitors in the case of call tracking and website chat. There are even free call tracking and web chat tools available that could help SMBs with a lower budget, right? So you don't have to have a huge budget to do this. Although the rate of use increased a bit, it was surprising to see that so few SMBs, only 32%, are using lead management software to help keep up with their leads driven from their marketing strategies. So again, you just want to be thinking about, what you could potentially invest in to help with your lead management. And we do have, again, solutions like that available at Look Like You. So again, I know this is going to feel like a lot of data and you'll get more time to dig into this, but to keep things moving here, we're going to switch into the topic of SMBs and AI. So I do want to do another pulse check, a quick pop quiz. Type in that question box. Let me know if you're using AI at all, if you're taking advantage of it yet, if you feel totally new. I just want to call some folks out from the question box answers here and just see how we're feeling about AI. If you feel like you're part of that group of SMBs that might be using AI a lot more, if you feel like you're totally new with it. There is no right or wrong answer here, but I just wanted to do a quick temperature gauge. And it does look like we have a few folks typing in right now. So we see that people are, using AI to plan and strategize, definitely a good tactic. Some other folks saying yes, fully using AI. That's great to see. Others say they want to, but aren't sure how to best use it. That's fair. And a lot of the platforms have AI capabilities directly on them. So you can do that too. But Again, it seems like most of your answers coming in right now are all over kind of the spectrum here. So again, there's no right or wrong answer. Some folks saying using AI for creative ideas, building out email strategy. Jason calling out ChatGPT specifically for social media posts. Ben using it for assistance with ad copy, data collection. Cynthia's using many different AI tools and uses, Barry as well. Okay, cool. So tons of different answers coming in. As you can tell, again, everyone's kind of at a different phase in their AI journey when it comes to using AI for marketing and advertising. So I wish I could call out every single one of you, but thanks for participating in that. And as you can see, you're not alone if you're using it and if you're new to it too. So with that being said, let's see how AI is impacting small business strategies. So AI is pretty much commonplace now, and small businesses are taking advantage of it. They're using AI to assist with an array of marketing tactics like content ideation, automation, design, and more. And while AI is great for many of these marketing activities, it can be easy to become too complacent and let AI take control of your marketing. That can lead to costly errors, right? So loss of trust and many other problems. So it's important to keep a close eye on AI outputs and monitor results regularly to ensure AI is working for you, not against you. So some of our marketing strategy recommendations here. Now, you might be tempted to ask an AI tool the best ways to promote your business, but ultimately the best AI marketing strategies for your business are going to depend on your unique goals and challenges, as well as resources you have. Something AI can't fully know or take into account. So instead, you might want to use AI to generate draft copy for marketing assets once you create your strategy. So you could use it, for example, to organize your Google Ads account structure. So while you can use AI to help with headline and description writing for your Google Ads, you might want to leave the strategic stuff up to the professionals or your own methods of, strategizing. You might not necessarily. I've found that when I've done a lot of research on AI prompts and using it for PPC and SEO, and I've found that it can be good for like a lot of objective kind of tasks, objective questions, things like that. But I've found that its strategy suggestions have actually been kind of generic. So the way that your Google Ads campaigns are organized directly impacts how relevant your ads are to their keywords, which directly impacts your cost per click, which directly impacts your ROI, right? So while AI tools can provide helpful suggestions, it won't know what other campaigns you might have running or what your business objectives are or how big your account or budget is. Basically, it would just take a long conversation with AI to finally get it to give you the right answer that's specific to your situation. Instead, you could use AI to recommend marketing tools that help to make the task of building out your campaigns easier, right? So for example, you could ask it how to maybe do some keyword research. One way that you don't want to use it is to directly ask it for keywords, but rather than see if it could recommend tools for keyword research. So many AI tools like ChatGPT aren't real-time platforms, and ChatGPT has limited data that happens. As you can even see when you go to use it, it will say that it only is informed from data from a certain year and it's not 2025. And it also will admit that it makes errors, things like that. So while many AI tools can provide helpful starting points or generate potential ideas, the data overall for like keyword research will be unreliable. But again, it's great for content ideation if you're looking for ideas for your blog posts, your guides, your white papers, and ebooks. You can ask an AI tool like ChatGPT for post ideas based on topics or existing content. Use it to perform research on a topic, curate the top articles on a topic, or to have it simplify a complex concept for you so that you can simplify it for your readers. Another aspect of AI in marketing is in web development. So AI can do things like create code for you. It could create for example, an ROI calculator, or output some other coding for your site. But the site performance and site optimization aspect of your website marketing is pretty complex, right? So there are so many considerations, like whether it will impact page speed or site security or other ranking factors if you rely on AI created code, or how the user experience will plan out. We've noticed that a lot of AI created code doesn't necessarily take into account UI or user experience or UX. In terms of whether brands feel whether or not you want to collect lead information, you know, the code for it coming from AI tools might also not take that into account. But you could use it for learning shortcuts or formulas to help with reporting and analytics, like data processing or analysis that can be made faster by asking AI for spreadsheet formulas. Just be wary of using AI to fully assist with your reporting and analytics. Now, many AI tools like ChatGPT can analyze data, right? But the current functionality behind this is very limited. So just like the best marketing strategies will vary from business to business, the right KPIs and goals will depend on your unique situation. And the best way to identify trends, patterns, and insights on your data is to come up with your own consistent reporting routine. Continue using tools like Google's Looker Studio, Google Analytics, Google Ads, or if you work with a third-party holistic reporting dashboard like LookLikeU's Customer Center, for example. One other topic or a way that you could use AI is for generating customer surveys or getting chatbot prompts and answer ideas, but it's still not fit for running competitor analysis. So most AI tools are simply aggregating a bunch of text data from across the web. It doesn't have a ton of context, as I've said before. So while it might spit some good information out about your competitors, you're better off running the analysis for yourself using real-time platforms and apps. And we actually have a free strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats templates, or SWOT analysis template on our website for you to run an analysis on that you can truly rely on. And that's over on the WordStream blog. So again, with AI being so prevalent, you don't have to always use it, but you're going to want to use it pretty frequently these days. So Google and Facebook both have their own forms of AI within the campaign build out that you could use, or you could work with a partner like LookLikeU that builds AI into our solutions here, and campaign execution as well. So where AI really becomes a lot of fun is when you see it used in this way. For example, LookLikeU built Dash into our customer center platform. Dash is an AI technology that transcribes phone calls, prioritizes leads, and allows for SMS texting. So again, some examples on Google and Facebook that you would be using AI, things like smart bidding on Google, performance max campaigns, as folks called out earlier, demand gen campaigns, and just an overall conversational advertising experience is all powered by Google's AI and automation. Meanwhile, over on Meta for Facebook ads and Instagram ads, you can find AI integrations and ways to use AI directly within the campaign and platform build out through ad creation, campaign optimization and augmentation, split testing, and automated insights. Meanwhile, over on LookLikeU's Customer Center through Dash, we have social ads powered by AI, lead management, and channel level optimization like keyword bids and rotating highest performing ads, things like that. So a lot of different ways to use AI, which is exciting. Now, after a few years of a challenging economy, it's heartening to see that small businesses are planning to increase or retain their marketing budgets this year. Small businesses have been through the ringer. We love to see how they're thriving and planning to continue to stand out from the local competition. So despite economic challenges, only 8% of small businesses are planning to decrease their marketing budgets this coming year in 2026. Nearly 40% of businesses are planning to increase their marketing budget, and this comes after almost half plan to increase their budgets in 2025. So this is encouraging to see, and this also is indicative of the type of competition you might be facing this year. The majority of SMBs are increasing their budgets and are doing so to drive more leads and sales. This makes sense as many marketing strategies built around lead acquisition require a budget. And if you're getting a good return on your investment, easy to scale, right? So in other words, you can typically drive more leads by spending more, right? Now we know that, and obviously it's not always feasible to just dump more money into a campaign, but of course, if you're going to power more budget behind a specific channel, it's typically going to perform better. And it's just about being smart about how you allocate your budget, no matter if your budget is large or small. Now, for those decreasing their budgets, the majority, 57%, are doing so because of the economy. And this is understandable after a couple of years of record inflation and the addition of tariffs in 2025. Of the 39% of SMBs looking to increase their budget next year, video, search, and social media advertising take the top 3 spots for investment plans. Over half plan to invest more in video marketing and advertising at 53%. Meanwhile, 47% plan to invest more in both search advertising and social media advertising. Business owners are investing in creation of video and other content they can share online, either via their own YouTube channels or organically through social networks like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. With content marketing at the number 4 spot, it makes sense that video and social media marketing would be in the top as well, right? So most SMBs are planning to keep their investments roughly the same for many tactics, including SEO, email marketing, social media marketing, reputation management, website chat, and more. And 24% plan to invest in traditional media in 2026, and this is up from 16% in last year's report. Now, video will also account for over 80% of internet traffic this coming year. So that's kind of why video is one of the most prominent channels that SMBs are planning to invest in. It dominates consumer behavior and lifts performance metrics. It's how people tend to want to communicate. It's easier to consume usually than text content, and it's more engaging than audio content. And when it's done right, videos are easy to interact with, they're entertaining to consume, and they're quick to share. So keep these video marketing trends on replay to stay ahead this year. 51% of respondents reported that they are more likely to share video content over social posts, blogs, or product pages. So people tend to engage more with video and want to share it out more. Another way to skyrocket your online presence is through SEO. So we've mentioned it a few times already, but with SEO, your business can be found in more online searches and people will discover why your brand is worth following on socials like Facebook. Much like the prep work required for posting, you'll want to do some cleanup or ongoing management of your website before social can be as effective. So that's where that SEO comes in. So try and fix and redirect any old or broken website pages. Identify the right SEO keywords to incorporate in your web content. Optimize your images, like sizing the image to fit the space that you're trying to post on, or compressing the image. And that is especially helpful tip for Instagram. I don't know if anyone has noticed this yet. I've definitely noticed it as an Instagram user myself. But depending on the size of your Instagram photo or video or whatever it may be, if it's too large, and you don't notice until you get to the final posting phase, Instagram will automatically compress it. And that's why it'll look super blurry when it does go live and you post it. So be careful of that. Watch out for that. I feel like that's burned me so many times. So just know that you want to be compressing your content as much as possible, optimizing it, resizing it, things like that, or else the platforms might automatically do it for you. And then it'll just come out in really poor quality. One last note too, link to other web pages and blog content throughout your website to also amplify your SEO strategy. Now I got one last little interactive pop quiz for you all. So just be ready to type into that question box. Let me know how you're planning to increase or decrease or maintain your marketing budget in 2026. And we did see all of this data coming in on how other businesses are doing it. But of course, again, every business is different. So I just wanted to do a quick pulse check. Do you all feel like you're going to maintain your budgets? Do you foresee yourself restricting your budget a little bit more this year? Or are you hoping to maybe invest a little bit more in certain marketing and advertising channels? So type into that question box if you feel comfortable sharing. Just let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling about your marketing budget. You don't always have to say if you want to add or, take away more, but if you're thinking about reallocating to or any specific channels that have your eye for your budget. Some folks saying hopefully to increase their marketing budget, totally fair and valid. That's exciting to see. And that's on trend with the majority of small businesses, as we saw. And this is good because if most of your competitors are increasing or maintaining their budgets, you likely want to be doing the same to stay competitive. Some other folks also saying they're looking to increase, particularly in paid ads, SEO, and GEO. Great channels to be investing in this year, as we just discussed. So definitely a good call out there. Some folks are just saying they're going to be happy to maintain the same. I got a few more increases coming in. That's great to see. Some folks saying maintain, but fully use it and optimize with the current tools that they're investing in and considering new tools to invest in. Some folks saying to increase it just slightly and particularly in advertising. Another person saying to maintain, but looking for more efficiencies with AI content. Definitely fair. So if you can't necessarily afford to increase your budget, or if you're just looking to maintain, basically, that's okay, especially with all that we've seen come through with AI. There are ways that you could still get the same quality results when you lean into just like lower cost tools, free tools, things like that, that can help you save. So thanks all for participating in that last little poll. I do have one more bonus poll for you at the end, but I'll save that as a little surprise. But I will just say, I wish I could call out every single one of you, and thanks for that. So moving on here, small businesses are still doing a lot with their budgets that they do have, whether you're maintaining or increasing, right? So most SMBs we surveyed are running their strategies across multiple marketing channels, but 52% have monthly marketing budgets under $1,000 and 50% have no employees dedicated to marketing. So this means that SMBs are truly doing a lot with a little, and without employees either to help with this function. Now, this can make getting new leads and growing or expanding a business a big challenge, which is fair. It's kind of why we're here. So if we take that knowledge that the majority of SMBs have little to no marketing budget and consider the number of full-time employees along with how much the business spends on marketing per week, we can see a couple of things. So the majority, or 53% of SMBs surveyed, spend between 1 to 10 hours per week on marketing. Now, this rate was higher for small businesses with 10 or fewer employees at 57%, and lower for those with 50 or more employees at 43%. That's because SMBs with fewer employees and smaller marketing budgets tend to have fewer or no employees dedicated solely to marketing, and their day-to-day schedules are spread across a range of activities that may include marketing. Third-party tools that help with campaign management or budget optimization are going to be the answer to these issues here. So we have XMO, our cross-media optimization technology here at LocalIQ, that powers a couple of different solution groups to generate leads and raise your brand's awareness. And it helps you move budget to the platforms with the best engagement and helps to make the most of every dollar and simplify the hours spent working on marketing. 56% of small businesses are currently running social ads, while only 45% are running search ads. This could speak to the recent search engine results page shakeups, like the introduction of AI overviews, which push results out down the page, if anyone has noticed that as they've been searching on Google, or the cost difference between the two platforms, right? So our recent benchmarks research showed that Facebook leads ads have an average cost per lead of $27.66. Meanwhile, Google Ads has an average cost per lead of $70.11. So it's a bit higher than on Google than on Facebook. And it could also speak to the effectiveness of paid plus an organic approach on social media sites. So once you build a solid social media presence that includes both of those strategies, you can grow your audience and keep them engaged. The other reason for this is that it could be simply that running ads on social media platforms is often easier than running ads on platforms like Google or Microsoft. It doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other, or one will generate one business more or less results than the other. It's just that a lot of folks, if you're not, huge into the marketing game, a lot of these interfaces are pretty complex. And so some people find that like running ads directly through the Instagram app versus, diving into Meta Business Suite and the Meta ads, or, managing Google and Microsoft ads and importing Google ads into Microsoft can feel easier, but they can all be effective. So many people are already familiar with social sites and the ads there are fairly intuitive to run. Well, search advertising is much more complex and it requires hands-on testing and optimization for success. So again, search marketing and search ads can be like just a bit more data-driven, or, they all do rely on data, but I would say like, if you're going to create a Facebook or Instagram ad, you probably have seen a ton of Facebook and Instagram ads. So you have an idea of what it should look like. You have an idea of what you want to say. And you can easily kind of just pick up on some quick data points based on the reporting that the platforms naturally give you, versus if you want to get the best bang for your buck on a platform like Google Ads and Microsoft Ads, you really need to be digging into the data, and you're going to be needing to experiment and A/B test different types of copy, things like that. And it can look really different from business to business. So Facebook ads stay riding as a cost-effective way to drive leads, website visits, and awareness for your business. Again, our recent benchmarks did show that the cost per lead on Facebook was $27.66. Well, again, the average cost per lead on Google Ads is $70.11. Cost per click and cost per lead for lead objectives are still significantly lower than comparable on Google Ads. Despite rising advertising costs and economic challenges, Facebook lead ads maintain a cost advantage over Google Ads. Now, this means that social ads are the perfect complement to your search strategy. Again, I will say it doesn't mean that your Facebook ads should replace your Google ads, because at the end of the day, they're two totally different platforms and you're going to be hitting different people up. And they're both effective. So I don't want anyone on here to think that you should do one over the other. It's more like using both to complement one another and offset costs and like fill in the gaps that the other can't. So if you only have a limited budget on Google Ads, then you could reach a few more people or customers through an additional audience on Facebook ads, but your Google Ads can still continue to be effective in driving leads. You might find a higher conversion rate on there than on Facebook ads. So it's all going to depend. Now, Facebook ads with a traffic objective, which is kind of more like generating website clicks rather than leads, saw a strong improvement year over year with both higher click-through rate and a lower cost per click compared to 2024. So if you're aiming to drive exceptional results with digital marketing, Facebook is highly likely to play a pivotal role in your overall plans and strategy. And that's no surprise. Facebook is an advertising powerhouse. The platform attracts more than 3 billion monthly active users, and research suggests that Facebook often delivers the highest ROI among all social media networks. Highlight all social media networks, not necessarily compared to Google Ads or Microsoft Ads. So again, you kind of want to be using both, but it can be really, really powerful in terms of social media advertising as a whole compared to maybe LinkedIn or whatever other platform you might be on. And again, when we're talking Facebook advertising, we're talking Instagram advertising too, because they're all ran through Meta and owned by Meta. So you can run kind of ads on both through the Meta advertising platform. Now, social media algorithms, including Facebook's, consider recency as a ranking factor, meaning if your post is the freshest post when your audience is most active, more people are likely to see it. So not only should you be posting with regularity, but the timing of when you post matters too. And we have a ton of resources on the WordStream and Local IQ blogs on the best time to post on Facebook, best time to post on Instagram, best time to, on whatever platform you need. So we do cover all of the research on there on our blogs. When you post at the right time, though, people will see your post early on, which is important. And if they like and engage with your post, it'll be placed in front of more people, right? So you're kind of like starting the race a little bit ahead. So for Facebook, the best times to post are Monday through Thursday, but overall Monday and Tuesday at 10 a.m. tends to be the sweet spot. Just a little pro tip. All this timing and regular posting can get overwhelming, so start a content calendar where you can plan out posts for the month based on holidays, seasonality, and other themes. So I know that we want to be posting a lot on social media, but obviously that's easier said than done. It's hard to think of things to post all the time. There's only so many different ways that you can, reiterate the same offer that you run year round or whatever it may be. But really just like having relevant, engaging, interesting content is what's going to be king here. So we do have a free calendar template over on the Local IQ site. I would highly recommend just giving it a quick download, and you will get ideas for basically every day of the year. So really helpful, just helpful tools, free tools and templates like that can make a difference when it comes to social content ideation. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and get more strategic with your Facebook audience too, right? So you can use campaign objectives that target different Facebook audiences. There are 6 different campaign objectives offered through Facebook. So for example, the awareness objective is all about getting as many people as possible to see your ad. Now this is great for breaking into new marketing or promoting something new. The traffic objective, meanwhile, will drive visits to a specific location like a landing page or website. If you have an e-commerce site or an online action you want someone to take, this will drive as many clicks as possible, which it tends to be a pretty popular objective. Engagement for that objective, it's all about getting people to like, share it, comment, or interact with your content, which will get you again in front of more people, build your audience. So if you're wanting to increase your organic visibility or increase excitement maybe around an event, engagement is a great objective. If you're running Facebook leads ads, now this is just focused on exactly that, generating leads. So either right on Facebook or on your website, you can generate signups, registrations, or generate inquiries. Now, if you are an app-based business, there is that app objective, and app promotion is meant to drive app installs if you run off an app. So that tends obviously to be less popular, but just calling it out for anyone on this call that might be in that category. And finally, but everyone's typical favorite is sales. This is all about driving qualified sales of a product or service directly through Facebook ads. But honestly, I would say you need to be testing multiple and using multiple different objectives. So each campaign objective impacts how Facebook serves your ads. So again, that's why you want to test out a few, because you're going to see different results depending on your objective. It impacts the algorithm's behavior. So that way you can see which ones serve your ads most efficiently. And it might not be that main money objective that you see. I feel like a lot of businesses do tend to jump to leads or sales objective, but if you don't have the initial, solid foundation of getting a lot of clicks to your site, used to getting a lot of volume on your pages, on your site, then you're probably not going to have as much success generating leads. You kind of want to generate that awareness, that credibility first, that traffic before you start digging into lead generation and management. So just a little insight, I think, from my personal opinion here. Now, I do want to leave you all with a few kind of quick ideas, things that you can walk away with, take action on here. So a few final thoughts. Be sure to consider all your different marketing channel options and be open to investing where it counts. Now, you might also want to be leveraging AI tools to create highly personalized ad experiences that adapt in real time based on user behaviors, preferences, past interactions. As we talked about, you can use AI to predict trends, automate bidding on Google Ads or Meta Ads, and target the right audience on both Google and Facebook. And now, as platforms like Facebook and Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, things like that in the video world gain traction, focus on producing short, captivating videos, tailor content for the vertical format to increase engagements and conversions, especially among younger demographics. You might be implementing strategies that track users across multiple platforms. That would be ideal, honestly. And you can also track them across multiple devices too to create a seamless customer journey. That's super important. You can use advanced attribution models to analyze which touch points are most effective and retarget users on Google or on Facebook that have interacted with other parts of your marketing strategy for a holistic approach. So just be thinking of as you're planning ahead this coming year, just be thinking of all the different channels that you could be taking advantage of and how they can complement one another, sync up with one another, and work together. So be open to trying new things. And as I always say on all of these webinars, is the reason why you want to have that like cross-platform approach, right, is because you always want to have a backup plan. So if you're testing something on Facebook ads or Instagram ads and it doesn't work out how you want, that's totally okay. Thank God you're already running Google ads or whatever other platform you're running on another channel. So that way you're still getting in leads and traffic while you test that experiment. Or on the opposite end, let's say you test something or try something on one platform, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, and it crushes, and then you want to scale or you want to add in another channel and you see increased improvement on other channels like your Google ads. It's all connected, and it's all about providing, again, that seamless customer journey to overall grow your business. So with that, I do want to, I know that was a ton of information. And thanks for bearing with me through all of it. I do want to launch one last quick poll on the page. So this is going to take up your whole page. There's no more slides. We're just moving into the audio portion of the webinar. If you have specific questions, and I'm seeing questions coming in about your specific business, your industry, your unique situation, I highly, highly recommend hitting yes in that poll, so that way you can talk to an expert one-on-one at another time, to get a free assessment and to really get some answers on your specific questions, because I'll try to answer as many questions as I can as we transition into this Q&A portion of the webinar. But of course, I won't be able to answer every single unique specific thing. So that's why we have that poll up there. So we're going to leave that poll up there and let it just hang out. So once you answer that poll, I'll go ahead and just sit back and relax, listen in. We're going to transition to the Q&A portion of the webinar. So answer that poll and then type in any last questions you have for me. I'm going to start pulling out some questions now. Tons of questions coming in. So if you haven't gotten a chance to drop your question, go ahead. Tons of questions coming in. Some folks are asking, do you think that there's a specific channel that if I only have a certain marketing budget and I can only afford to do one channel, what should it be? Unfortunately, no matter how low or restricted your marketing budget may be at any given point in the year, it's always best to have a well-rounded multi-channel marketing strategy than to focus on just one. So you just kind of want to be building up to that and just adjust your expectations accordingly. For example, if you have a $10 daily budget on Google Ads, but your average cost per click for your industry is $10, then you better be ready to only afford to get one click a day. And that's okay, but that one click better convert, right? So then you want to be focusing on your website conversion optimization and your website build and your landing page build. So it's all kind of connected. And as you collect those clicks and you gain some historical data that allows you to gain things like a higher quality score for a lower max CPC bid, then eventually you could work towards maybe a lower cost per click and getting more clicks in for that limited budget. Great questions coming in here. That was a really good question. Some folks are asking, again, a lot of questions coming in about which channels are best, but I will say again, there is no right or wrong answer there. Unfortunately, for a lot of these questions coming in, there is no black and white right or wrong answer. It's all going to depend on your business and your industry. So I highly recommend doing a bit of competitive analysis. Sam asked something about SEO specifically. This is a good question. AI summaries or AI overviews, right, as we've seen them on Google Ads, for example, are bumping down search results. Now, we all know that. We've seen that. And I also just recently published a ton of research on that on the WordStream blog, so definitely check that out. But he's asking, what do you do about this when your AI overviews are pushing down your organic results? Yeah, we're basically seeing that a lot across the board, honestly. And unfortunately, there are most sites are seeing a knock in traffic because of AI overviews. That's just how it is. And statistically, as I said when I did my research, that basically AI overviews, when they're present on a search engine results page, click-through rates go down. But I think what you need to do is just pivot your SEO strategy. We have a ton of ideas and tips on this on the WordStream and Local IQ blogs, but essentially some of the top recommendations that we do make are to focus on other portions of your SEO, like your listings. Also just fully optimizing your pages, your meta descriptions, your meta titles, things like that as much as possible to get as many clicks as possible. Also pivoting, maybe what types of content you're targeting. So we found that certain types of keywords trigger AI overviews more than others. So thinking about what types of keywords you're targeting and whether or not they might trigger an AI overview, because they're not present with every search, is a good start. So with that, tons more questions coming in, but I know we're getting close to time, so I will give you all a few minutes back here. Thank you all so much for joining. And I hope you have a wonderful day. We do these webinars bi-monthly, or twice a month. So we're going to, go ahead and we'll wrap this one up. But if you want to attend more in the future, we do have one coming up later this month and one in December. So I hope to see you all there. And thank you all so much. I hope this was helpful, and have a wonderful day.